What's up, Brian? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Robbie?
I'm doing great. What is up, PCP Army? How are you doing? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. We're gathered here for a conversation with Jolly Joe Corallo. So, Brian, how you been, though, man? Haven't talked to you in a couple days.
It has been a couple.
Now, I'd like 2 eggs over hard.
And we got Joe Corallo with us. What is up, Joe? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. How are you all doing?
Doing fantastic. Doing fantastic.
Excellent.
Doing as well as can be expected. Yeah. We just got back from Heroes Con. We had a grand time there. That was super fun.
Still dealing.
Nice.
I think I'm still a little hungover from it.
That'll happen.
A little hungover. You didn't drink nothing, Brian.
I'm old, and it was a lot of action.
Your feet still hurt, man?
No, my feet are fine.
All day on Saturday, Brian was just like, my feet hurt, and I need to eat. And I'm like, bruh, is this what it's like is this what I got to look forward to in 10 years, man? I'm not looking forward to that, man.
Yeah,
anyway.
It is. It's exactly what it is. And I'll be laughing at you while my feet hurt.
Okay. Speaking of hurt feet, Joe, how you doing, man? So you have a book that's being currently released. You just had the second issue that you're writing along with Rachel Pollack, and it's Neverending Party. I have read the first 2 issues of it, even though I cannot stand reading comics on Amazon right now. It's just not working for me, man. I need a tablet. I don't have a good tablet at all. I'm trying to read on my laptop, and I'm just like, anyway, that being said, love the book. It deals with magic, and it deals with young people partying, Dionysus. It's got a lot of elements that I really like, and I thought the art was really cool too. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about it?
Yeah, no. The Neverending Party is a book I collaborate on with Rachel Pollack, who, for people in comics, she had the run of Doom Patrol immediately after Grant Morrison, and had done some other stuff too, Time Breakers, through the Helix imprint, a Tomahawk one shot, or the Power of the Geek. She wrote New Gods until John Byrne decided he wanted to, and they fired everyone on the book so he could do it.
Yeah,
just stuff like that. But basically, I really wanted to see Rachel back in comics, and I had this pitch. You work on pitches, and I was like, let me come up with something that'd be good with Rachel, and then I sent it over to her. She really liked it, and then we fleshed out some more together. And I had previously worked with Eva Cabrera when we were on Kim and Kim. I was editing that, and she was the main artist, so I got to know her a bit. And I was like, okay, well, why don't you come work on this book? And it all sort of fell into place.
Nice. Brian, did you have you had a chance to read it, man?
I have. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and thank you for bringing Rachel back to comics, because
no problem.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that Doom Patrol run until you had the interview with her with Perch.
Yeah,
and listen to that. That's a fantastic interview, by the way. It's awesome.
Thank you.
It gives you a lot of backstory too, and a lot of really good inspiration in there. And so I actually read her. Let's see, the Beatrix Gates, and then that one. Is it Unquenchable Fire? I think that's what it's called. Man, that is a good book. That's fantastic. I love this series. I mean, like Robbie said, it's got all these just awesome elements all mashed together, and the art is fantastic too. I really dig it. And speaking to reading it on Kindle, my iPad is so old that Comixology doesn't work anymore, so I have to use Kindle. And man, it doesn't navigate very well, but
but we got nothing but great things to say about Amazon and Comixology and their relationship with Joe Corallo. So
they've been fantastic with me and everyone on the team. So that's been good. And I know Chip is since he left, I think last week, and Bryce, who I had already been working with on both. Because I had edited Lost in Planet Earth, and then I got to write this with Rachel. So Bryce had been there along the way the whole time, and he's taking the reins now. So it's been a smooth transition and everything.
Very cool. And there is the book, everybody, right there. That's the cover of the first issue. And the cool thing about the Comixology originals is that if you're like everybody and have an Amazon Prime membership, they're free. Like you can just get them and read them. And that's like super cool. So you already have it, most of y'all out there. So you don't have to go find it. It's just right there. So
yeah.
There's a good question. Robbie, what are the key ingredients of a good comic? Well, I think we have a more of an expert here. Joe, what are the key ingredients for good comics?
I mean, it's all there's so many factors, but like everyone working well together is a big one. You want everything to mesh well. You want like writers, if you're collaborating with an artist, to sort of write to the strengths of the artist, things like that. Having a consistent tone and really outlining things and trying to stick to that, like all that kind of stuff. Because I think the biggest problems that people end up having with like Big Two comics, for example, because when people ask, it tends to be about Big Two comics, right. But a lot of like 99% of the time you hear this story all the time of like, well, this was the original plan and then all these things got in the way. And this happens with licensed comics too. It's not just it's basically almost anything outside of creator owned. And even in creator owned, there's times where they're like, oh, we got to cut this sooner, so you got to scramble and change things. And that's usually what happens is you have to make last minute changes, and those last minute changes tend to be what drags down the quality of a book. But yeah, if you're able to kind of work together and all like sort of collaborate in a productive way, and that I think there isn't enough emphasis on, if you're going to work in comics, you should read a lot of comics, and you should also be reading, like prose. You should go see movies. You should be consuming all sorts of entertainment, and it's just so important. It makes you think about things like layout, structure, all of that stuff, what you want to do. Too often, I think people end up feeling they no longer have time because they're so busy working on stuff they can't. But it's like you gotta. Like I think, and I think a lot of people think that like even if you don't know, when someone is like really detached from the medium they're working in, and so
yeah, we've seen that happen.
Yes, yeah, that's the thing. Like comics are a unique storytelling medium, right? I mean, it's the blend of the visual aspects and the the words and everything. But so it's like if you're not reading a bunch of them, I don't know, a lot of older people have trouble getting into comics because they didn't grow up reading them, and they're so when you're younger and you learn it, because that's one thing about comics is it does rely on some work on the reader to interpret the images that are going along with it, and so I think you need to get, like you were saying, you need to be like deep into that so you can lean into the strengths of that storytelling technique. I mean,
absolutely.
Also you got to see the stuff that's being done that's better than you, so that you like know where the bar is being risen to and what you got to go against. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep up with the state of the art, or you wind up writing the same style for decades longer than you should. I don't know.
Yeah, and we don't have to point to any specific examples, but I think we could all think of some examples.
Probably. So it's cool to actually have you on, and you got some upcoming books that I'm excited for. Let's talk about Jinx's Grim Fairy Tales. This is an Archie horror anthology, right?
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to be a part of that. I didn't realize that Mags was also in it until we got an email from Jesse Post, who does like marketing stuff there, and it's like, can we get like some pull quotes, things like that for upcoming coverage? I was like, oh shit, Mags is because we have worked together a bunch at this point. I've edited was it at least 2 things for her, and then she's been in some anthologies I put together and stuff like that. So it was really, so that was funny. And then
that wasn't planned. It's not like you two got together and were like, let's storm Archie's offices and get in this anthology.
No, it was just funny how that worked. I was like, oh well, and then I ended up seeing her like a week or so after that. We talked about it, and we watched God, what was that movie? It was Vegas in Space, the trauma film.
Ah, okay.
It's a lot of fun.
Was it? Out of 5 you digs, what would you give it, Joe?
I mean, it's probably like a 2.5, but still, it was fun.
A good 2.5, though.
It's a solid 2.5. Like, it's, because it's like, it's one of those things where it's bad, but then it gets like, it gets additional points for different things. But yes, it's an interesting little piece that's out there that's worth people's time if they're interested in like olds, like, because it's a campy movie that's basically like it's drawing a lot of influence from like campy 50s sci-fi, but it's also has a lot of like drag culture and stuff like that in it. It's a lot of drag queens, and like it's very interesting.
Well, that's cool. I just wrote it down in my notepad of forgetful things. So
yes,
we'll put it there. Forgive my ignorance, but I thought I knew most of the people in the Archieverse. Is Jinx like I don't what is Jinx? You gotta get inform me on that one, Joe.
Jinx was a little girl known as Little Jinx. There's old comics called Little Jinx, and I guess she was kind of their answer to things like Little Lulu and stuff like that. Little Lulu is amazing, by the way. I have all the drawn in quarterly hardcover collections of Little Lulu, but
nice. Can't be just a few of those.
Yeah, it's good stuff. They're gonna keep putting more and more of those out, I'm sure. But yeah, like Little Lulu, Nancy, stuff like that. She was a bit of a brat, but in the early 2010s, they did an updated version of Jinx and Archie, and she had her own series for a little bit where she was in I think she was a freshman in high school. And it was like, oh, she's going to the school, and it's like, oh, all of the angst that comes with being new to high school and stuff like that. So she's like a little more of a periphery character that they've been wanting to do some more with. So it was interesting. Like I read some of that run to prep myself doing this. I read a bunch of Golden Age Archie. I read a bunch of other Archie stuff. I also watched a bunch of episodes of the Archie's. It was like Weird Adventures or Weird Tales. Like, why am I blanking on the exact name of it? But it was like Archie's Weird Mysteries. That's right. Yeah, it was Archie's like a cartoon from the 99, 2000, and like that area.
Oh wow! I remember one. What was the one when I was a kid? I think it was like Archie, but they were kids or something. I don't remember.
It was something like that, yeah. Because there was also the what was it? What was the one where you had? It was like the really old one. I want to say not that old, but it was like had that whole cheesy theme song. And it's like Archie's here, da 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 da. Betty's here, Veronica too. Da, 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 da.
I don't know. You're the Archie expert.
Where are you? Like that whole thing. Yeah.
I just love the idea that you probably have like a 10-page story in here or something like that.
Yeah, it's like about 5 pages.
Okay.
Yeah. It was
and so you went back and you were reading like Golden Age Archie and watching all these cartoons and shit. Just, I love that. I love that, Joe. That's dedication, man.
Thank you. No, it's like you gotta go for it,
Yeah, you got to know what's going on. Archie Babies, was that the show? Huh. I don't know. There's a bunch of different Archie shows throughout the year. It's so crazy, the staying power of Archie, right? Like that's so weird that sometimes I think Archie comics get overlooked, but like it's wild. It's like Superman or Batman. It's a big brand like that. It's weird that I don't know, but with the way that they've kind of reinvented themselves in the comics and then even in TV with the Riverdale show, and then you had the Afterlife with Archie, which I loved. I loved all of that. So it's cool that they're still doing stuff, man.
No, for sure. I think something that's really interesting that doesn't get brought up enough in this discussion with Archie is, is that what's it called? The new Archies?
That's one I saw. It was from like 87, so that might be it.
Okay.
I don't know.
But yeah, so there was so in like the golden age and stuff in the 40s, when you have Archie really coming to prominence, mid 40s and so it wasn't like a period piece. It was like people were acting like they did in the 40s, and then something happened. I would love to talk to like an Archie historian or something that like could pinpoint when they came to that fork in the road of, do we keep going with the times and be current like Archie was at the time, or do we just like double down on like this like era of like Americana? I'd love to find out. Like I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure someone somewhere has done that work, but I'm interested to know, because I find it fascinating.
I wonder, like, because do they like if you looked at an Archie comic from the 70s, would they be wearing bell bottoms? Would they be referencing things like that? Would Jughead have longer hair? But no, they're like this, like that timeless 40s, 50s quality to it. Even in the stuff I read Archie comics like crazy when I was a kid. I mean, they were at the grocery store aisles. Everybody was buying those digests and stuff. Man, I used to love that stuff.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I mean, Archie with Sonic the Hedgehog's what really got me into collecting comics. But yeah, I think it would have been hard to be like a kid in like the 90s, late 80s into the 90s that didn't have like just Archie Digest somewhere. They just happened.
Yeah,
you would just find them either at your place or like a friend's place. Or like
it's weird. It's like, and there's a mystery. I mean, there's a story right there to uncover, because like, do you remember going and specifically buying Archie comics? But I remember having them. They just appear. Yeah. It's like manna from heaven is what it is.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah. No. And also from a grocery store, I got my first Batman comic, which was, I want to say Batman 545, which was in the middle of that. Like, it was a Doug Kelly Jones. And it was in the middle of, it was part 2 of 3 of that Joker story where he's did that ritual to make the demon Etrigan do like his bidding.
Yeah.
Which, that was, I loved like the cartoon, at the time. And then you got this, and it's like this Batman with the crazy long ears and Joker summoning demons. And it's like, what is going on?
I was not ready for Kelly Jones at that point either. Like, I remember seeing that and just being like, this is just weird. I look back on it now and I'm like, I wish Kelly Jones did more Batman, but back then it was so weird. Like, this dude was on Batman, and you're right, those crazy ass ears, the way he drew Bane, like the giant freaking, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Kelly Jones. That's awesome. We got a Mad Cave book coming out.
I do.
Yeah, that just got announced. That's what, in December?
December 7th, issue 1 of Dahlia in the Dark comes out.
December 7th. Well, we'll remember that one. We'll remember that date for sure. Tell us a little bit about that book.
It's but yes, it's that's about it's a crime noir urban fantasy comic. So it's basically like you got your guy Donnie Dahlia, and it's like he's got one more job before he can quit, and it's this like he's got to deliver this package, and there's also like a fairy war going on, and he gets kind of like tied up in this fairy war as he's like delivering this package, and it's there's also werewolves and changelings and stuff like that pop up. There's reference to this like horrible harpy attack that happened years ago that we don't spend too much it's just like a background thing, and you see harpies every once in a while, but yeah, there's a lot of like extra world building, which I really had fun doing, because I really wanted to like flesh out this world and show how it's different but not dwell on it and keep telling the story. So
yeah, oh, that's cool. Looking forward to that one.
Oh, it's really good. I wanted to say like that story. Yeah, I had a blast reading that one too. So and it made me maybe kind of see a little bit of a theme in some of your writing where there's a lot of mythology. Is that something that's like a big interest for you, or is it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I like that kind of stuff, but it's really like I like worlds that feel lived in, but like you can't develop too many characters in like 5 or 6 issues.
Yeah.
But I feel like important things in stories are character relationships and development and the world they live in. And it's like, if I can flesh out both of those things, I think I could put together a good story. So that's really what I wanted to do. And, I did a similar thing with BECSTAR, where I made it a point that they were in a different locale every issue. Like that was like important to me, because I wanted to keep showing that this was a big, sort of galaxy or wherever they are. And to me, that was the way to do it. And I felt like if I was reading a comic, like I'm like, I want to feel like I'm getting like a nice meaty story in a floppy. So I'm like, if I can have them go somewhere and kind of like get there and do something each issue, then that's going to be, that'll be enough to get through and move on to the next. And I did something similar with Dahlia, where they're, on the move, they're delivering this package. So things are happening and are moving along. And, so there's a lot of development of, this like kind of like mafia stuff, and also this, like there's magic and, but that's really, and trying to ride that line, but really keeping the core of the story being about Donnie and who he is and what he's trying to fight for, I think is what's going to carry this.
Yeah. Well, I love that issue. And I was who is the artist? Because like the one didn't have the cover on it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's Andre Milana is the. I think I'm saying the name right. I've never heard it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Is this like his first comic or?
I think he's done some other comics, but this probably is the biggest one he's done so far, I think.
Okay.
Because he's an Italian artist. He's done some other stuff, I think, but I think this is going to be his biggest comic to date.
Yeah. So did you in your scripts did you have a lot of the layouts kind of defined and everything like that? Because I thought there's usual in your comics, you had some interesting layouts again. In there.
Yeah, I tend to write pretty detailed scripts and layouts and things like that. So I mean there's always a couple of things like Andre will email back and just be like, oh, I thought like this might work a little better here and there. It's not too much, but it does come up. Like a couple pages an issue or something where he's like, I think we can do it this way instead. But I do tend to write pretty detailed descriptions of all the different layouts. And I'm definitely inspired by different things I'm reading at the time. Might have some influence in like layouts. Jack Kirby's always going to be a big influence. I love when he does those like the 4 big panels, like the 2x2 on a page. So I usually do a couple of those at least in every issue. I just finished binging Stray Bullets. So I did. So there was at least one page in the last issue of Dahlia in the Dark that's the like 2x4 panel grid. So it's like David Latham does that like a lot in Stray Bullets, and I was like, I want to do one of those pages because I like how that gets laid out. Things like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I need to check out Stray Bullets. That's one of my blind spots.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It was a blind spot for me until I binged it. You gotta just every once in a while you just gotta like look around and be like, I haven't read this. And just
I've seen it in the store a lot, and it looks like it's great and everything. But I really wanted to dive into it after you guys had talked about that City of Crime, where you did that Batman story, because that was, you guys are right. That was one of the best Batman stories I've ever read.
Right? Like, I mean, it's
so
crazy.
dark.
I remember I got into Stray Bullets. I think there were like 3 trades out at the time, and I got these like hardcovers or whatever. I since sold them, and I've been trying to get back the trade paperbacks. But there was another book he did called Murder Me Dead that I have the hardcover for still. That is absolutely fantastic, and it's kind of connected to that world. I even have the Amy Race Car like collection of those stories separated out. So I remember being those back in the day. I haven't revisited those in like 15 to 20 years. So I got to get back in on that. I'm just going to tell you that. Don't you also have a bit in this anthology, Lower Your Sights, right?
I do.
Okay.
I have a short story I did with Sierra Barnes. And it's a 3-pager about a Ukrainian revolutionary from the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Okay, cool.
That I did some research on. I would butcher her name if I said it out loud, but it was a good. It was good doing the research and thinking about how to present it, and like she had been tortured, but they talk about just torture like sort of bluntly, not going into like specifics. So I had to like do some research for one panel, because I'm like, if I'm going to show her being tortured, I want to make sure I'm getting like what's what's something that they would have done as a form of torture in Russia back in like the 1930s, 40s, all that. So because I think that stuff's important, because not saying that everyone is trying to think that not everyone might know, but I'm like, you want to do the right thing for the story. You want to make it as authentic as possible. And if it takes me an extra 20 minutes to do a little research on one panel to make sure I'm getting something closer to right than it could have been, then that's what I got to do.
And who doesn't want to spend 20 minutes on the internet researching torture methods, right?
Yeah.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? No, that's really cool. That do you know when that comes out?
I know it's in previews now, but it comes out in September. I can pull up I have it in here somewhere. It is. Give me 1 second. Yeah, let me. Good. Why are you? Don't give me the wrong information. Come on. Give me the right information. It's very riveting, I know. But no, it's September 14th. That's what I thought.
Okay. September 14th. There's also a lot of other fantastic creators in there. I was looking at the lineup earlier, and there's a murderer's row there, one could say.
Yeah, I'd written that one down when I'm at the store to, get that on my pull list. So.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, so is Liana a part of this one too, or
she is?
I can't. Yeah, okay. I thought she said something about that recently. So some of the others.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? There's a ton, but in
Rich
terms
Duick's
of writers,
on
Rich,
there.
Jim Zub, Matt Kent. Those are some of the bigger. Tim Daniel and DB Andre, nice. Justin Richards.
Nice.
And then what was it? Artist Richard Pace. John Kistire III. I love that guy. He's wonderful. Sean Von Gorman. So,
a lot of friends of the show on that list. So it's nice.
Yeah, no, it's good. And there's also a lot of Ukrainian creators as well. And this is all, Chaz. It was the editor for that. So Chaz, Pangburn, and people might recognize him as the letterer from Metal Shark Bros. But he is,
okay.
He's done other stuff too, but I really like Metal Shark Bros.
I've never read that,
It's
but
good stuff.
I always see them like at Heroes Con. I've seen them. They were there again this year, but I've never gone over there, and man, there was so much I missed out on doing.
Yeah,
that always happens. But they have a good podcast too, the Word Bros.
Oh, that's them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did not make that connection. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, I was just on there like last week.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go see Thor tonight, huh?
I am seeing Thor tonight.
Are you excited?
I don't know. I'm just sort of like I feel nothing. But that's good because if even if it's like okay, I'll be like, it was a good time. That's kind of where I want to be right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's getting
is it going to be a 2.5? Like a good 2.5, you think?
Hopefully. Maybe more, but if I go into it being like, it'll be like 2.5, then like and if it is a 2.5, then I'll be like, great.
Yeah. It is weird though. I feel like we have lost this enthusiasm for Marvel projects, right?
Yeah.
Even with this one, it's like, and the early word is that it's kind of a little too goofy and doesn't really find. It's like it's trying to recreate something from Ragnarok, but it doesn't. But obviously we all three of us, regular people on PCP movie night, we critics, man. We're gonna make our own mind up on this movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know when I'm going to watch it. Actually, I don't know because I don't like watching it in crowded theaters, screaming babies, people with their cell phones. So maybe Sunday morning. I don't know, but I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what Christian Bale brings to the table.
Yeah.
But
it'll be interesting. I think the thing that's gonna part of the drag for me with I guess we're still in phase 4.
Yeah, I think so.
It feels like phase 4 is just endless, but
with no identity either.
And meandering.
Like where's it? What's it
meandering all over the place?
Yeah,
that's what's killing me. It's like, would it kill you guys to just have like a stinger at the end of one of these be like Kang in a tower, like clenching his fist, being like soon or something like that? Give me something that I'm like, okay, that's happening. That's what they're building towards, but I don't know what they're building towards because they kind of were Celestials, maybe, but who knows? Like, it's like
and then Doctor Strange mentioning incursions, which leads you to think like like Secret Wars, like Hickman's Secret Wars kind of thing. That could be cool. That could be cool, but at the same time, like don't get there too quick because you haven't introduced the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom yet. So like. Or maybe that's going to, I don't know. There is an expectation. It could be argued. You can look at phase 1 if we want, right? And those were like, they didn't have like a large connective tissue at first, really. There was the mention of Nick Fury showing up, obviously. So that popped. But now we really do have an expectation of wanting to know why we should care about the next 10 years of these films, right? And they haven't given that yet. But they did say that Love and Thunder would be it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, who knows? I would think that's not going to be it because I feel like that would have come out already, but maybe we'll see.
They did withhold the embargo. Like they had an embargo on reviews until like yesterday or the day before, something like that. And so obviously those guys aren't going to. They probably weren't allowed to spoil that, if anything. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope there's something to show, like building to something, because it does seem a little directionless right now.
Yeah, I mean, because phase 4 now is what we've got. Have there been 2 Spider-Man movies in phase 4 now?
No, I think that last one was the technical, that last one they said was the end of phase 3, I think.
Oh,
okay, because I can never tell if they technically count the movie after the Avengers movie, because we've had 2 since Endgame.
Yeah, we have. Wow, that's crazy. But outside of that, so there's like Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, right?
Doctor
That's
Strange.
it. Oh yeah, and
Doctor Strange, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Doctor Strange. No Way Home, obviously. So that's like 4 plus a glut of Disney Plus shows that all are technically part of Phase 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're hardly connected, right? I mean,
well, I'm sure that Miss Marvel will connect because she's going to be in the Marvels, right? So I'm sure that the next episode of Miss Marvel, which is the last one, will probably have like Brie Larson show up or something. Like, surely.
Yeah, and we're gonna get Ant-Man 2 soon as well. But what was it? But yeah, it feels, because of the shows, that we've gotten like more airtime content this phase than like other phases.
Yeah.
And yet we have less direction than we've ever had before.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I don't know. It's a weird thing. It is. Are you keeping up with the Disney Plus shows?
Kinda. I got like halfway through Moon Knight. That's where I stopped. I might go back and finish it, but I mean, I'm glad they saved all that money by not filming the fight scenes. But
I know, right? Oh my god.
It's I did not have high expectations about Moon Knight. I was excited because I like Moon Knight, but I didn't have high expectations, so those were not. I was okay with it at the end, but I was texting my cousin Ibrahim right around episode 3, and it was just like, are they going to fight? I mean, because I remember this mainly being an action comic, like it's not the deepest comic most of the time,
No, but yeah, it's very it's like. Yeah, I don't know, but I hope it's like it really wouldn't take that much. Like I said, just like 10 seconds of Kang doing like, I'm gonna get you guys, and I'm like, so many people. It's like if you just gave them like 10 seconds of something like that, would be like, oh, okay, good, all right, I know where this is going. Cool.
Yeah, they want to know what to fuel the spec for, man. We didn't know what comics to go buy.
Exactly.
What first appearances and stuff, and what random secondary characters are going to be used, right? That's what we gotta.
Yeah.
No, I think. I mean, I enjoyed Doctor Strange.
Sure.
I did not like Eternals, and I thought that Shang-Chi and Black Widow were okay, but it's kind of dull for me personally.
Yeah.
But I am overall liking the majority of the shows. I didn't like Moon Knight, but I am really enjoying Miss Marvel. I liked Loki. I loved WandaVision. That's still my favorite. So
that's probably the best one so far. But yeah, it's I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how much more they can milk this before they have to like really deliver again. Because it's like, I know you guys delivered hard on that. Your double feature Avengers with Infinity War and Endgame. And you had to take a little bit of a break, but enough of the break. Let's get back to the story.
Yeah,
get back to it
for sure. And we need a character with charisma, like Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark had too. We need something to latch on to, and we'll see what happens. I think what the Black Panther 2 is coming out soon. It's going to be really interesting to see how they do that without T'Challa involved. Obviously, I'm sure it'd just be Shuri stepping into the mantle or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see on that one.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not a mess. I fear it's going to be a mess.
Yeah. I think it would, with all the unfortunate circumstances surrounding it, like, I don't know, man. I do not envy people that are trying to work out how to make that movie without T'Challa, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to regret not just either delaying the movie a little long and recasting and being like, oh, let's take this off the table a little bit, give Chadwick Boseman some respect and recast, because it seems like the tides had turned pretty quickly, like that when they when Disney decided, oh, we're not going to recast, that was in the moment what people wanted. And very shortly after that, people were like, oh no, I don't actually want this. Recast him.
Yeah, like now we don't get Black Panther anymore. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Damn, I was going to say something. I forgot. Oh, you have said one time on this show, I believe, that The Rock is kind of, or that Jim Lee was like The Rock of comic books, you know, being like a big superstar, but not necessarily being in anything truly, truly good. Do you think that The Rock's finally going to break that streak with Black Adam? Are you excited for that one?
I'm going to see it. I don't know if that's going to be what breaks it for The Rock, but I thought Shazam was one of the better DC Snyderverse kind of maybe movies. But yeah, I don't know. Black Adam, it seems like they're just throwing a lot of stuff in it. Like they were just like, yeah, whatever. Dr. Fate, Hawkman, sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Why not? Have you seen the trailer?
What was it? I don't know if I saw the most recent one.
The trailer basically to me was just was pretty much telling the audience he's like Superman, but he kills people. Right? Like,
so
guys,
it's like Superman?
Like what a novel concept, guys, that this is like a superhero who kills people. And I don't know. I'm like, y'all, I think with The Boys being very successful right now, I think that the general public's used to the idea of superheroes murdering people after that and Invincible.
With Invincible,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. It does scream, how do you do, fellow kids? When people do that kind of stuff, but you know, I'll watch it. But
I'll watch it too. Is there a movie that you're looking forward to seeing? And obviously, we're not talking about superhero movies exclusively or anything like that. Just something that you're looking forward to.
The last movie I was really looking forward to seeing was Everything Everywhere All at Once, and that was really good. And it made Doctor Strange 2 worse because it was a much better multiverse movie. I don't know. I know a lot more movies that I'm not looking forward to. You know what? I am looking forward to the Super Pets movie. I can't wait to see that.
That's The Rock. Maybe that's the one that's going to break it, right?
That might be the one. That might be the best family-friendly movie The Rock's done since Tooth Fairy.
I don't know, man. I love Race to Witch Mountain personally. So
okay, that's fair. But,
I don't know, man. I'm a mark for Witch Mountain movies for some reason. Like when I would have the free weekend at Disney Plus, it would be on at 2 a.m, and I would just watch, Escape from Witch Mountain. Oh, I loved it.
There you go.
I'm looking over to see if I still have the DVDs. I don't think I do anymore.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to end up watching, and I can't imagine actually enjoying it that much, but I can't help myself. I'm going to watch it. But based on the trailer, I can't imagine enjoying it. Is Clerks 3?
Bruh, yeah, like I'm really disappointed by that trailer. Like honestly, I don't know, but at the same time, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot wasn't, I don't think, a good movie, but I still kind of enjoyed that I watched it. But it's like I was a hardcore Kevin Smith fan, like in my my teens and early 20s, and then it's just over. Like I don't care anymore, man. It's like I still like Kevin Smith. I still love Clerks and Chasing Amy and Mallrats and Dogma. But after Dogma is when it starts kind of falling apart for me. Like I'm not one of those big fans of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I know a lot of people are, but I don't know. It's just, to some people that was their first View Askew Universe movie was that one. But I don't know.
No, for sure. I fall in with you in that same sort of mentality. But what were you saying, Brian?
Oh yeah, I actually saw Clerks in the theater at a small theater in Atlanta. I just had a buddy that was really into movies, and so he would just take me. I had no idea what I was seeing, and yeah, absolutely love that, and I loved all those. I'm in the same boat. It seemed like after Dogma, it was just kind of like I don't know. I haven't watched that trailer for Clerks 3, but I'm in the same place you are. I'm going to watch it when I get a chance to, just because I want to see it, but
no, for sure. I think this trailer would have made me less sad if the Jay and Silent Bob reboot movie didn't exist, because it feels like it's retreading a lot of that. Like, it's very like, oh, it's a meta movie, and it's like, and remember all these characters and actors from these other movies, they're back now. And
do you remember that time they played hockey on the roof? Well, we're gonna do it again. Why not?
Yeah. Remember that time that they had that deleted scene with the ending where they killed Dante? What if we reference that?
Yeah, I know. The basic premise of it, Brian, is that Randall decides he's tired of being a loser and he's going to make a movie, and he's making Clerks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's not great.
But Jay and Silent Bob now run the store next to him, and it's no longer RST Video, it's RST THC. So it looks like they got a weed store put over there. So that's pretty cool, at least. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's too self-referencing now, man. Like too much, man. Like those early movies are connected, but what we liked about it was, oh, Trish the Dish is Alyssa Jones's sister. Like, and they're talking about the same. Oh, they're talking about the lady that died in the pool swimming laps. Like that was what we liked.
Backstroke or whatever.
Yeah, right. Like that's what we liked about the connections, because I don't know, but now it's just oh yeah, and Ben Affleck. Oh, he's got to make a cameo, so why not? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's just sad. It's like when Marvel rolls out Roy Thomas just to have him do a fill-in issue between Hulk 182 and Giant Size X-Men #1.
Yeah. Well, we've always wanted that. Let's be honest, okay?
Well, sure.
But we wanted it back then. I think it would be different now, But surely Roy Thomas has kept up on reading comics, and he knows like the current style and way to deliver a maximum impactful comic, right? Surely.
Oh no, for sure. But
they're gonna get me to buy one of them because Jim Rugg's got a ballpoint pen variant. So I'm like, well, they sold me one of them for sure already.
Yeah. No, it's. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's shocking because I feel like they've already monetized every second of Wolverine's life, and they somehow managed to find another moment where they could be like, oh, let's cram something into that moment.
Yeah.
Make you all pay money for that.
Do you know Marvel's doing this thing now where they're like getting like sometimes old school creators, but they're doing stories set in those old school ways. Like they got David Michelinie doing Venom Lethal Protector, and they had J.M. DeMatteis doing Ben Reilly Spider-Man. I think we need to revisit the Wolverine era where he was wearing like the bandana and he was all like cavemaned out, like that post Onslaught era.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just prime for picking right there, I think. So
no,
maybe Brian,
sure.
maybe some people out there, if you're listening, maybe you should start thinking of some pitches. Just saying. Get Adam Kubert to throw some artwork down, let's do it.
He'd do the covers, right?
Well, he's currently doing covers, but he did Wolverine back then too, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I used to love his Wolverine. I used to love his Wolverine. Holy cow. Him and Silvestri, they're Wolverines. Jim Lee's got a good Wolverine too, be honest. And the John Byrne. John Byrne's got a great Wolverine. But I like the Dave Cockrum Wolverine too, and those early issues of X-Men with Wolverine. I really like that look where it's a little bit more like the fins or whatever those are a little bit more straight. What the hell? That's the most impractical suit for someone. I remember a What the comic where, because his boots have that same kind of shape, right?
Yeah.
And he takes off his mask and his hair's in the same shape as the mask. Like he designed this mask to replicate the shape of his hair. So in this What the comic, he takes his boots off and his legs are super hairy, and they do that same thing. They have that little...
The hair does?
Yeah, the hair does the same kind of thing. It's a good little fun bit right there. So, yeah. Nice. What have you been reading, Joe? What are you reading that you're liking overall right now?
Oh, geez. I am think I'm up to date on Amazing Spider-Man, which is it's a bit of a roller coaster, but
Did you read the newest one?
which issue 4 or is 5 out?
5 just came out yesterday.
Okay, so I didn't read 5 yet. So
Okay.
I'm just 4 is the last one I read.
I liked 4.
Yeah.
I did not like 5. I'm just telling you, man. I can't wait to hear what you think about it.
Because I read 3 and I'm like, I don't know, and then 4 I'm like, okay, I'm back a bit. So I feel like this is just going to be a roller coaster for me. I read the new Batman.
What'd you think?
Don't know. I like it, but I don't. I like Tim Drake being Robin. I don't know. Like the story is fine. I don't know where it's going, and I hope like. Here's what's going to really upset me. Is if Chip Zdarsky somehow manages, because it starts off, spoilers for people. I don't know if I won't say who spoilers, but someone gets murdered. I won't say who, but there's a murder, and it looks like they're framing Batman. And if Bruce Wayne goes to jail, like Daredevil went to jail, and Chip somehow just like scratched off the serial numbers on his Daredevil run, and it's just like, same thing?
Yeah.
I'm going to be so upset.
Plus, Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka did that with the Bruce Wayne Murderer and Bruce Wayne Fugitive run, which I loved, where he gets framed for the murder of Vesper Fairchild, I believe. He goes to prison. Yeah. He breaks out of prison. He's like, okay, Batman full time now, y'all. And it was like, that was some really good, solid stuff. Okay, so the Robin bit, there are two fake out deaths in this issue, right? Where the one we're told like, oh, he'll be fine. But it's so, I don't know, what they did with Tim Drake, like that's a weird choice to do, right? Yeah. Just to have what happened to him happen and then write it all. I don't know. But then there's like a major character's death, which I don't buy like whatsoever. And that character, Penguin, for instance, in the story is acting very weirdly out of character in the beginning. So you know that there's something else going on. I don't know, man. Yeah. But the artwork, holy cow. Jimenez just keeps getting better and better. Oh my goodness, the art in that book is so good.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to pop when he does his Image book. Trust me. It'll happen one day.
Oh yeah. No, but yeah, so that's something, still on top of, Red Room, Heavy Metal Drummer, trying to think, like, there's just so much stuff. I just read the first hardcover of the Norm Brayfogle Batman stuff they put out a while back.
Very cool.
I just wrapped up Mud Pack, the other day, and what a dumb story. But like, it's gorgeous. I love Norm Brayfogle. He's easily one of the, I feel like he's got to be on most competent people's like top 10 like Batman artists of all time kind of thing. I don't know if he makes my top 5, but you know what I mean. Like, he's one of the best to tackle the character.
Absolutely.
But you read, and some of the stories are really phenomenal. But Mud Pack is very stupid. And it's fine, it's fun, but oh my god, it's like
What's one of the Clay Faces like had the Mr. Freeze helmet or whatever? Do you remember that one?
Clayface 3, yeah.
Is that Clayface 3? I always thought that was so stupid. Like being a kid, I remember that.
It's stupid. It's funny though, because like Detective Comics, it was like 4 478, 479. That two-parter that Len Wein wrote and Marshall Rogers illustrated.
Okay.
With that Clayface. It was good. The costume, again, I'm with you. It's stupid, but like the story was good. And then Alan Moore had the one story in like annual 10 or 11 or 12, I want to say.
Yeah, that's where I think I first came across it, because I got that.
Yeah,
DC did that Alan Moore Across the Universe trade or whatever with all of his.
Yeah,
that's where I read the Superman annual, which is one of the best Superman stories out there. So
yeah,
with Mongol, you still reading Action Comics? Are you liking that?
Yeah. I'm a couple of issues behind. I got to catch up, but I have really been enjoying that.
What were those issues of Detective you were talking about with Marshall Rogers and Len Wein?
It's should be 478, 479.
Okay.
But
Encyclopedia of knowledge here, Joe Corallo.
Thank you. But no, that was fun. Like he's a horribly designed character that's like kind of interesting. And in Mud Pact he's done pretty dumb, but Alan Grant's written some good Batman stuff. I don't want to like downplay that too much, but like that's something like reading through that stuff, the late 80s, early 90s detective comics, and that era of comics in general. It's so weird because it's both like a lot, maybe like it's a lot like darker and grittier. Like there's more blood and violence, and there's like things like that going on. But then there's also a lot of like straight up Silver Age goofiness. And this is in Marvel and DC. But it's like I'm reading this, and there's the one issue with the guy who's like, he's that detective, Joe Potato, and they call him that because he looks like a potato, and his face is all messed. And you're just like, what the fuck are we doing?
I just remember, and I know that Ed and Jim over at Kayfabe, they talk about this a lot, but that in that era, DC always seemed very square, compared to like some of the other things. And I think usually at times it could be the art, but it was also those elements of story that would be in there where they were trying to be edgy, and then they would like still want to be like, I don't know, like the respectable company or something like that. Yeah. But I think that so obviously some of the superhero stuff of that era is not very good, but like a lot of it is pretty solid. And DC had such a just great stuff that they were pumping out in the late 80s, early 90s outside of their superhero line, or even when they started the whole new format stuff. They had Mike Grell on Green Arrow. They had The Question. Did you just pick up that Question omnibus? Have you picked that one up?
I still got to pick it up. I have all the trades, which makes it tough to upgrade sometimes, but I'm gonna buckle and get it.
It's so gorgeous. It's got this like hot pink like on the cover that just makes it pop. It just looks beautiful.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited because I'm going to bring that to Memphis. Dennis Cohen's going to be there, so
awesome.
Bringing the omnibus to. Sorry,
I know it's phenomenal. No, you're fine. Yeah, no, it's phenomenal stuff. I absolutely love that run. And it's weird, like every once in a while, like I'll talk to someone who's like, I don't know. And it's just like, and that's when I know like they're really not like worth giving any attention to. Like there's just certain books that it's just like, you're not worth it if you don't like it. And The Question's one of them,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, because you also have Sienkiewicz, Jenkins, and all that too. And that, that just to me, that cover, that first issue is one of the coolest covers I've ever seen. So, yeah, it's a fantastic run.
Yeah, it is. Maybe one day we'll do it for Comics Revisited, right?
Because when I did read it one time after reading Steve Ditko's original run, and it actually helps to see what that was set up like, because like it makes that because I guess I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, but the first issue he dies, and then he kind of gets reborn, as a almost effectively a different character. I mean, I don't know. And it makes that transformation even, hit harder when you read it after what that Steve Ditko run was.
Yeah. So. Yeah, for sure.
What have you been reading, Brian?
Well, I only read one new issue last night. I read the Mind Management Bootleg, and I freaking loved it. I haven't read Mind Management since it ended. And so I was afraid of reading it because I wasn't sure if I'd remember anything. But he does do a good job of sprinkling like what basically the original premise, of the book was and everything. And it's Farrell Dalrymple doing the art, and he doesn't try to do a Matt Kent comic book, which I appreciated. He put his own style into it, but the characters were still recognizable from Matt Kent's era, and it's a Matt Kent book too. So like the inside front cover is actually part of the story, and there's a little bit of extra stuff in there, and then there's even a part at the end where he puts a script in as part of the process, and it's all actually part of the story. Like it's I don't know. He's good. He packs a lot into an issue.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I have been reading and loving has been World's Finest. It's crazy to me that they're able to put out a comic like that just it's like Mark Waid and Dan Mora and Tamara Von Villen, and they can just kind of do what they want. It's like in its own continuity, and they don't care. They're not trying to explain. Like so often they do these things, and there's like some sort of preamble of like this takes place between this issue and that issue, or this is an Elseworld thing, and it's like I love that they don't care, and they're just like fuck it, we're putting out this book, and we're not even 100% sure which Robin it is. It's probably Dick. Who cares? It's a good comic. Like, it's great. I love that. And it's like, oh, it's the old, it's the Silver Age Doom Patrol. Are we going to explain why? No. It's great.
Yeah. I'm liking it more and more as it goes, but I thought for a moment it felt a bit overstuffed, but I think that's kind of like evened out for me. And I really like this thing where Supergirl doesn't like Robin. Like that's a cool dynamic that I'm not familiar with seeing before. But like I like that she's annoyed by him and kind of just doesn't like him. And I think that's a really cool take on it. And Dan Mora and Tamara Von Villen on the colors, holy cow. Like it's just classic fun superhero. It makes me feel like pulling out my Superpowers action figures and playing. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels
Absolutely.
like.
Yeah.
It feels like it is paced out like a late Bronze Age into like the mid 80s kind of like book.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has that feeling of like DC shortly before Crisis, where they actually got their shit together on a bunch of books, and then they had the Crisis anyway and ruined a bunch of their books. I think people forget how Batman was actually a really good book. It wasn't selling great, Batman Detective Comics, but that 6 years before Crisis is some of the best Batman you're ever going to read. Like, it is it's so good. And then after that, you got Joe Potato. And it's like, okay, sure. But, and you just get all this weird nonsense after that for years before Batman really felt like it found its footing. And then, they do Crisis because things are too complicated. And then Batman has the biggest family that's ever existed in human history. So, to make it simpler for people, so it's easier to get into. But, and what Marv Wolfman was doing in Action Comics, his Action Comics run before Crisis, incredible. And they barely collected. They collected some of it in like a Gil Kane hardcover, but it's following the artist, not the writer, so it's missing a bunch of issues. So you get like 3 parts of a 7-part story and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
that's frustrating.
Yeah, I got to hunt down some of those other issues because I picked up that one that you talked about, and I did even did a bit on Rockin' Robbie Live on it of the what if Superman didn't exist. And so little Jerry and Joe have to create Superman. That was cool stuff.
Yeah. I was going to say on that World's Finest, speaking of that time period you were saying, it is like, that's what I wanted to comment on was Tamara's colors on that. It's just bright and vibrant. It's totally different than what a lot of superhero comics are today. Even some of the, the cheerier ones. I mean, it's bright. You know,
I mean,
like,
they should be though. They should be, man. I don't want to open up a comic book page, and if I'm looking far away from it, it looks like Brian's screen right now. You know, just brown and yellow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, you get like, I like, and that's also part of what I enjoyed about the Neverending Party, putting that together, is it's simple, vibrant colors. That's what I want in a comic.
The colors are great. I can't wait to see how they print, because they could really pop on the page if they do it right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see what it'll look like in a trade, because it'll be nice. And I'm really glad issue 2's out. I loved issue 2, putting that together. What was it? I won't spoil who it is, but someone's like murdered, and their remains get washed up in Staten Island, and that's a reference to how Michael Alec killed that guy Angel, and put his body in like a box, and it washed up on Staten Island.
Oh,
so that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was pulling from for that.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that. I don't even know what the hell y'all are talking about. So
that's okay. It's they made a movie about it called Party Monster with Macaulay Culkin.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. But it's all about and I have the book here. Party Monster, because I read the book getting ready to write this comic, because you can't just watch the movie, you have to read the book. And,
yeah, exactly.
You got to do the real research, but yeah, it's the book was originally Disco Bloodbath, and it's all about Michael Alec, who's this guy who came from Indiana to New York, became a big party guy, but then ended up murdering one of the other club kids, and that was I wanted to take a lot of that as like influence and part of the tone for the comic. So
okay, the comic gets crazy. Like I'm reading the first issue, and they're like, okay, time for the ritual, and I'm like, okay, I'm into it. Then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what are they doing to that? What is what? It gets wild. That's a party, bruh. And people are just like, woo wee, hell yeah.
That's the nice thing about reading it on the Kindle, though, because I could zoom in and see all the all that action and everything like that. Because I know what you're talking about. When I saw that, I was like, wait, what is all? Whoa, there's a lot of people killing that guy.
Yeah, and then there's in the first big like splash in the first issue, that like 2/3 splash of the party. We threw in a bunch of characters like Death from Sandman and like John Constantine and stuff like that, just like in the background. Not actually them, if anyone from DC Legal's listening, but people that kind of look like those characters. And then and we also put for the club kids stuff, there's the guy in like the chicken mask. That's from he was that there was someone dressed like that who would go to the clubs and things like that. So like wanted to like put all of those little things into it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's those little details that matter, Joe. That's what it is. It's all about that.
Yeah. No, it's great. You put all those little details in there, so that way, someone can give it a 1-star rating and be like, it sucked, I didn't get it.
I'm sorry. I've already apologized for that rating. Okay. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was reviewing something else, man. I'm sorry. I thought I had it on another tab.
But one review on Amazon, which I really appreciated, someone was like, at first I was like, I don't know if I really believe this whole thing with people just like murdering this guy at this party and everyone's cool with it. And then she's like, but then like I was thinking about living through 2020, and I was like, nah, it tracks.
People would have their phones out like, whoa, look at this live streaming. Yeah, it's a really cool book. Everybody, I highly encourage you to go and check it out. If you have Amazon Prime, get it for free. Like, it's there.
Yeah,
you already have it. Just it's like that U2 album just mysteriously showed up on everybody's iPods. Remember that? It doesn't. It doesn't just download automatically. Trust me. You gotta click a button.
I love that when that happens, there was like a public outcry of people upset that they got a free album.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like that really, it goes to show you where like U2 was as a band, which also makes me want like, I have a t-shirt that has Kiss on it and it says Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
And I really want to get a shirt or commission a shirt that has U2 on it and it says Nirvana.
Oh man.
Nice.
And I feel like that would just upset people, which would be nice.
When you wear the Kiss Zeppelin shirt, do people like come up and like inform you that your shirt is wrong?
I've had people laugh. I've had people that have tried to say, like, I don't know if you know, like, I remember one Christmas I wore that and one of my aunts was like, that's not Led Zeppelin, that's Kiss. It was a whole thing. But I did have one guy, and this wasn't that long ago, who looked at that shirt and said, he's like, anyone ever, punch you in the face for wearing that shirt? And I was just like, well, no. This hasn't happened.
I hope you aren't.
Yeah. It was a needlessly tense situation. I'm like, guy, it's a shirt. I don't know what you want me to do. But no, it's people have strong opinions about that stuff.
They do, man. It's crazy, this world. A lot of people got a lot of strong opinions, it seems. So yeah, it's hard to navigate sometimes, to be honest with you. So
you almost sounded like you were quoting The Room.
I've never even seen The Room. That's that one with that dude, right? That's like supposed to be one of the worst movies of all time or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the movie good?
I love it.
2.5?
Yeah, probably 2.5. But like the best 2.5, Like if it was any better than a 2.5, it'd be a 3.
Or 2.69.
Or 2.69, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of my favorites. I've seen it in theaters a couple of times. I went to the Tribeca Film Festival, had the Riff Tracks live crew live riffing it, so I went to that. I went to a screening in the East Village where Tommy Wiseau came and introduced the movie. So yeah, I own I have the DVD of it. It's I've seen it a ton. I've watched it with people who've never seen it before multiple times. So yeah, I like it. Is where this is going.
Well, we may have to do it on PCP movie night one night. I can see the outcry right now. Jelani being like, "No." I got him to watch. Have you ever seen? It's like, I think it's a Hong Kong movie from like the early 90s, like The Story of Ricky, like Ricky O. Have you ever seen that movie?
I don't think I have. No.
I've heard of that one though.
It is ridiculously awesome. This dude, he winds up going to prison. His lady like committed suicide after being kidnapped by these drug dealers. So he goes to like tear ass through him. He gets shot up. He winds up in prison. He still has the bullets in him. They're like, why did you keep the bullets? Why didn't they take them out? He's like, I keep them for a reminder. This dude is basically Superman. He can do anything. He's literally punching through people's faces, punching through their stomachs. Blood's just pouring out. It's ridiculously dumb. At the end of the movie, the warden, who's just this like old guy, like turns into like a Klingon Hulk. Like he goes into giant, and the special effects are like dumb and stupid, and it's so much fun. Y'all, my buddy Bob sent it to me on DVD. So much fun. I let Brooks borrow it. He loved it. We let Jelani borrow it. He's like, this movie sucks. It's so bad. And we're like, yeah, that's the point. He's like, I hate this movie. It's a good movie.
I gotta get you guys to watch. Have you ever seen Lady Battle Cop?
No, Lady Battle Cop.
Lady Battle Cop is a Japanese knockoff of RoboCop.
Oh man!
Yes.
But instead of being excellent, instead of being a cop, she's a pro tennis player who got second place in the big tournament, and then ends up at the wrong place at the wrong time. She's stabbed in the back with a comedically large knife, and next thing you know, she wakes up and she's a lady battle cop.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. All right, I'll watch that. You watch Riccio, the story of Ricky.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good one, man. I think you'll like it. I think it's right up your alley. I'd give it like a 3.5. Actually, I did review it. I think I gave it a 3.5 or a 4. I was probably smoking something real good that day to give it a 4. I don't know, man. But yeah.
No, but that's good. There's other insane, awful movies I can think of. But yeah, it's Lady Battle Cop's a good place to start there. Yeah.
I'll see if I can squeeze it in with Action Fest coming up. That's right, everybody. Action Fest is on the way. Next Monday, this upcoming Monday, actually, I don't know why I said next, but on Monday, Action Fest starts with all 4 Lethal Weapon films being reviewed here on Pop Culture Philosophers. Very excited for that. Saturday, Dylan's Horror Show, we're talking about Society. I am supremely excited to talk about that. Are you a fan of Society, Joe?
I haven't watched it forever. I need to watch it again. But yes. There are too many movies. Like, one of the things that sucks about getting old is you think about, like, oh man, I love that movie. I haven't seen it in 25 years.
Oh, I know.
Yep.
That's been happening a lot to me lately, man. We did Gross Point Blank. I'm like, yeah, I haven't seen this movie since holy shit. And it's just, it keeps happening. It's 20's that magic number. I'm like, I haven't watched this movie since I was getting into movies and had more time to watch, when we had time to watch like triple features, like everybody just come over, we drink beer and watch like 2 or 3 movies. I ain't got time for that anymore, man. I'm lucky to make it through one movie.
Yeah, every once in a while I'm able to get something together with a friend of mine and we'll watch like 3 or 4 movies or something. But, that used to be something I could do like once a week.
Yeah.
And now that's not the case. But yeah, it's like there are other movies that are like, oh man, like was it Brain Damage? That was a real messed up movie. I enjoyed that one. But that's another one where I'm like, oh wow, like I really like that movie. I watched it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, I should watch or like I watched like the Evil Dead movies and stuff like that, but like the last time I watched that stuff was in like college.
I've watched them very recently. I watched those ones like a lot. Like the first Evil Dead is one of my favorite movies, I think. Like of all time.
No, I
love it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Albert says I think I gave it a 4.5. The Riccio. Yeah, I probably
Oh my God.
I was on some real good stuff, man. Let me tell you, man. I got to go back and watch that little clip. Yeah, that's funny. Heck yeah, man. It's so weird getting old or older, I should say, because we're not old. We're young. We're filled with youthful vigor and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, Joe, thank you for joining us tonight and chatting a little bit about your upcoming books. Usually when you're on here, you're like, yeah, I got stuff, but we can't talk about it yet. So it's nice to actually have a plethora of Joe projects coming up in the pipeline.
It is nice. It's nice. I'm glad. Because, usually I'm talking about one thing and I'm like, I have a bunch of things that I can't announce. And then one of them gets announced like the next week or something. I'm like, I should have something else announced in a couple of weeks, but, them's the breaks. Cool. I got enough. I can't get greedy. I got enough things I could talk about. So that's
absolutely. Good. Absolutely. Brian, you got anything else, man?
No, I'm good. Just glad to be here. And Joe, glad to see all this stuff coming out. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I'd love to, we'll talk again before then, but definitely when like Dahlia and the Dark Side, I'd love to come talk about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, we'll see you throughout Action Fest because if everybody doesn't know, Joe is not just a friend of the show. He is family. It's like Vin Diesel, The Rock, and what's her name? Is it Michelle Rodriguez? Is that her name?
I think it's.
That's the 3 of us right now. That's who we are, right? Okay. We're family. It's a Fast and Furious reference. All right. Anyway,
I got the
Joe,
reference, even though I haven't seen any of the movies.
You haven't seen any of those movies? We covered them on
No.
Action Fest last year.
Sorry.
We did. I watched all of them, man. I enjoyed most, but there's a solid, it's like 4, 5, and 6 to 7. That's such a solid run for those movies. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Good stuff. You just got to get through some shit to get there. But films the brakes, as Joe would say. Anyway, that's been the show, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Do support Joe Corallo's upcoming work. Get those PCP pre-orders in. I like that alliteration. And we'll catch you next time. In a couple of weeks, we'll be joined by Dennis Camp. He just released his new book, Agent of World, which is
that's awesome.
Phenomenal. Have you read that yet, Joe?
I haven't read that. I have to read that. I do like Dennis Camp. So
yeah,
what is
it?
I'll make sure.
Ilya Bertukin is the artist, right, Brian?
Yeah.
It's like Mobius, Jeff Darrow type stuff, and of course,
I
Brian.
just happen to have the cover, original art for cover 3. Sorry for the glare.
Oh wow, yeah, that looks great.
It's so crazy how small that original is.
Yeah.
And how much detail.
It's 8
it's
by
so
12.
small. Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. Anyway, but he's also got a new book, 20th Century Men, coming up in August. He's got Bloodshot Unleashed in, I think, October. So lots of cool stuff coming from him, and I'm excited to have him back on the show. And
nice. No, that's great.
Yeah, hell yeah. So everybody, go follow Joe on Twitter, where he retweets awesome stuff and doesn't cause any kind of controversy whatsoever. So Joe's one of my favorite people.
No, thank you. Yeah, it turns out the more you talk, the more people disagree with you.
That is true.
Crazy
I found that to be true as well.
All right, y'all, we're dipping out, man. Station and